Welcome to the Dynamics of Everyday Life, where we demystify some tricky concepts and get to know ourselves a little bit better. Welcome back to the show, everyone. In today's episode, we're exploring one of my most hated phrases in the modern emotional vocabulary. You got this. I cannot tell you how much this grates on me. If anyone says it to me, they will get a Paddington Bear hard stare, when actually, internally, I am screaming. Now, let's add a bit of context, because if there's one thing this podcast does well, it's turning my personal catastrophes into teachable moments. So, I've needed a new phone for quite a while now. It's been absolutely impossible to access emails or do anything useful when I'm out and about. Everything takes a million times longer than it should. And long-time listeners will know I have a pathological fear of tech. I frequently say to James, my version of ChatGPT, remember, this gets me stressed, so you will need to explain this to me as if I'm 5 years old. I'd put the upgrade off for ages, but it was starting to get to the point where it was unmanageable. So off to the Apple Store I go, feeling slightly queasy, and it's not just about the price tag. I used to have this fantasy that you could walk out working with your new device. I'm sure, actually, when I think about it, that used to be a marketing ploy. And it turns out that this is not an option anymore, because apparently our phones contain the entire library of Alexandria now. So that means a transfer can't be done in store. And this is the point where the fun really begins. My incredibly helpful and far perkier than he deserved to be on Black Friday assistant says, "Don't worry, it's easy. You got this." No, I don't, Damien. I've just watched you find settings on my old iPhone that I didn't even know existed. I definitely do not got this. He explains it to me several times, as does someone else when I pick up the phone later. You don't need to hear the press the wrong button on the gift card debacle, which meant that I had to order the phone to be collected an hour later from the same store. You see where we're going with this? Multiple people told me with great confidence, "You got this." It's like they were giving out emotional paracetamol or something. Anyway, Sunday evening rolls round. I'm busy all weekend and I really need the phone to work. So I decide this is the moment. First issue. No one has told me when to swap the SIM card. No mention of this at all. So back to James I go, who informs me it's very important to do this before the transfer starts. Excellent news. I do that, plug the phones in, and my new phone cheerfully tells me that the transfer will take 10 to 15 minutes. That's quite different from the 8 hours I was told in store. But fine, quicker is good. And then I wait. And I wait. And I wait. The screen says, leave your two phones close together while the data transfer takes place, with that smug little whirly sign that mocks you quietly in the dark. I go to bed. At 1 a.m, it's still going. At 3 a.m, it's still going. And I have whipped myself into a full Greek tragedy over absolutely nothing. Eventually, at this point, I realise I'm not getting any sleep, so I hit a few buttons in desperation, and magically, action occurs. It finally tells me something useful. Ready in 3 hours. Great! And at 7 a.m, a mere 12 hours after I began, the data appeared to have been transferred. I say appeared to, because a handful of messages have vanished into what I can only describe as the iCloud Bermuda Triangle. Now, here's the key thing. I absolutely did not have it. I was panicked, confused, uncertain, and the instructions were either unclear or just missing. And yet, the refrain from the Apple Store chorus was, "You got this." Which leads me to today's question. How on earth does anyone know if we've got this or not? Because that question right there is the psychological door that we are walking through today. So why does "you got this" drive me mad? On the surface, it sounds supportive. But it isn't. It's a shortcut. It's a tidy little phrase we use so that we don't actually have to engage with the human being in front of us. It gives the illusion of encouragement, when what we're really doing is bypassing their actual experience. And, unsurprisingly, there is a buffet of defence mechanisms behind it. What have we got on the buffet table? Well, we've got denial. We pretend everything is fine so we don't have to feel any discomfort. We've got minimisation. We shrink the other person's struggle so it becomes manageable for us. We've got a lot of customers to get through today. Tell us she's fine so we can move along. We've got deflection. Move away from anything messy because messiness is the enemy of retail efficiency. We've got projection. I need you to be okay so that I don't feel anxious. Very helpful for them. And then we've got reassurance as avoidance. So we've got a quick hit of positivity instead of actual presence. When you think about it, culturally, we are trained to reach for positive slogans to avoid discomfort. You see them everywhere. Mugs, t-shirts, tote bags, Instagram posts in calming beige fonts. Emotional tidiness wins every time. Emotional presence is basically an endangered species. But what "you got this" fails to do is it fails to see or hear the person. It bypasses their distress. It skips relational connection. It's the emotional equivalent of when your phone says, "This may take a moment," and then does absolutely nothing for 6 hours. Completely unhelpful. And a teensy bit smug. So what's happening psychodynamically here? Well, what's happening in the relational container is, I need you to be okay so that I feel okay. Instead of, whatever's happening, I am here with you. These are two completely different experiences. One is tidy, one is human. So what can we do that actually helps? Well, I've got some phrases here that do actually support people. So we've got, "This sounds hard. Talk to me." Or, "I'm here. What do you need?" You don't have to have this. Wobbling is allowed. And, "Do you want help?" Or just solidarity when you swear at the technology. Now, these create connection, not distance. My invitation for you this week is notice where you might be saying "you got this" and ask yourself what you're trying to avoid. And when people say it to you, and they absolutely will, remember, it's about them. It's not about you. And, as always, give yourself some grace. Imperfection is allowed. You do not have to have this. Just because someone in a corporate t-shirt announces that you've got it doesn't magically make it true. It just makes their day easier. You can not have it, and that's completely fine. Before we close, if you want more between episodes, I'm live most Monday afternoons at 2:30 on LinkedIn, now also streaming to Facebook, because apparently my IT skills are growing daily. Not that my recent phone debacle would indicate that. Recordings go up on my YouTube channel unless it's bank holiday, in which case I'll have my feet up watching a James Bond film. And a quick reminder, Essential Psychodynamics for Coaches starts again in January. The first 2 rounds have been fantastic. Fabulous groups, deep learning, lots of laughter, and a surprising amount of self-awareness popping up at inconvenient moments. Coaches are already signing up, so if you don't want to miss out, send me a message and we can have a chat. Looking at ourselves at this level can be challenging and unnerving as our awareness develops, so please do this at your own pace. To explore psychodynamics further, or find out the different ways that you can work with me, either as a trainer, coach, supervisor or mentor, then click on the link that's in the show notes. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Dynamics of Everyday Life. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. As well as producing this podcast, The Dynamics of Everyday Life has lots more psychodynamic fun going on, and you can find out more at dynamicsofeveryday.life.